News at 5 with Michael Benny.
Hello, everyone. The vote is on, and there is overwhelming evidence at polling stations that they are busier than usual. We have CBS 5 Campaign 2018 team coverage all night long, ready for whatever happens. We start live at St. George's Church in New Hartford. The polls are open until 9 o'clock this evening. We're tracking a number of hotly contested races. Some of the biggest ones are the battles for seats in Congress in the 22nd and 24th districts. CBS 5's Mary Keeler is live in Syracuse with Democrat Dana Balter trying to unseat a Republican in the 24th district. Tommy Sladak live in Camillus with what Congressman John Katko has to say about his bid for a third term. Victoria Carmen is in New Hartford, where Congresswoman Claudia Tenney hopes her ties with the president will help her keep her seat. And Justin Page is live in Utica, where the Congresswoman's Democratic opponent, Anthony Brindisi, is trying to turn a red seat blue. All of it after the top 5 and the Weather Authority forecast. Here's meteorologist Mike Brookins.
And for a while this afternoon on this election day, we had some of that deep blue sky. Nice colors on the trees as well. This was taken by myself, actually, right outside our studios here in Syracuse at CNY Central. We did see temperatures jump into the 60s briefly. We're now at 57. We've got a line of showers, some gusty winds in some of these, maybe some small hail as well. They are brief, but a gust of wind up to 40 miles per hour is possible, and we'll watch those move on off towards some heavy rain in some of these. Also, Service Experts live triple Doppler radar shows it's already passed through Syracuse. We've got moderate rain around Bridgeport, Maple Flats on the other side of Oneida Lake, some heavy rain there. That stretches up towards Florence and then towards the Tug Hill into Lewis County. So your voting forecast for this evening, it'll be a touch and go situation at 6 o'clock. There'll be some scattered showers out there. Then they're mostly very isolated, and we're mostly dry with mostly cloudy skies. 56 falling back to 52. It will also be breezy, but those temperatures above average for sure. Michael?
Thanks, Mike. It's 5:01, and here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. CBS 5 revealing new details about the double homicide in Sodus. Investigators say 25-year-old Charlene Childers conspired with her husband, 32-year-old Timothy Dean, to kill her ex-boyfriend. Court documents say Childers, who was living in Texas, helped Dean rent a car to drive from Texas to Wayne County, where he is accused of shooting and killing Joshua Niles and his girlfriend Amber Washburn 2 weeks ago. Dean is facing murder and weapons charges. The search continues for a 13-year-old girl abducted outside her home in North Carolina. State police down south took to the roads to bring attention to the search for the girl. Authorities say she was taken from outside her home early yesterday morning by a man in a green Ford Expedition. An alert in Oneida County, a rabid raccoon turns up in Rome. Health officials say a couple found their 2 dogs fighting with it outside their house. One dog was bitten in the face by the raccoon, which later was killed and tested positive for rabies. Both dogs were given booster shots because they were current on their rabies vaccinations. A woman killed, several others hurt after a possible tornado moved through the middle of Tennessee overnight. The storm left widespread damage southeast of Nashville. That's where a woman was killed when a house was yanked from its foundation and turned upside down. Right now, the SU men's basketball team gearing up for the official start of the season. The home opener is tonight at the Carrier Dome against Eastern Washington. Tip-off, 7 o'clock. Millions of dollars have been spent on the advertising. Thousands of hours spent pounding the pavement, knocking on doors, and making phone calls or sending text messages. Tonight is election night on CBS 5. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock. Turnout in Onondaga County alone is very high, elections officials say, and they expect it could fall in the 65 to 75% range, which would make it more or on par with the presidential election. No major problems reported at this point, although some extra machines are en route to some polling stations to accommodate more voters. A direct quote from the day from one election official: "Everywhere is busy." The marquee race in the Syracuse area is the one for Congress. Republican Congressman John Katko running for re-election for a third term. His opponent, Dana Balter, hoping to be the first Democrat to win the district since 2012. The most recent Siena College poll finds the incumbent with a 14-point lead over his challenger. CBS 5's Mary Keeler is with the Live Eye at the Marriott Syracuse downtown. That's where Dana Balter hopes to have a big party tonight.
That's right. Good evening, Michael. We are in the Persian Terrace at the Marriott Syracuse downtown, where we expect the Onondaga County Democrats and their supporters, hundreds, we're being told they're being prepared for to gather as these election returns start coming in, and that includes, of course, 24th Congressional District challenger Dana Balter. And we were with her as she casted her ballot this morning at the Bishop Harrison Center on Lancaster Avenue in Syracuse. That was at about 9:30. Balter and Republican incumbent John Katko have opposing views on issues like health care, gun reform, and immigration. Balter tells us she's excited that today is finally election day.
This is incredibly exciting. We have been working for over a year on this campaign, and to see it all come together is amazing.
A spokesperson for Balter tells me just a bit ago that she will arrive here once those returns start rolling in. Of course, we'll be here for all of it as it unfolds. Live at the Marriott Syracuse downtown, I'm Mary Keeler.
And our team coverage continues right now with CBS 5's Tommy Sladak. He's with the Live Eye at the Camillus Fire Station with new information on Congressman John Katko.
Michael, good evening. Congressman John Katko visited all 4 counties in the New York 24th District today, making his last few stops here in Onondaga County, where we're seeing a growing line of people getting here to vote, most of them coming here after work. Katko and his family were also here at the Camillus Fire Station this afternoon casting their ballots. Earlier today, the congressman made stops in Wayne, Cayuga, and Oswego County, meeting with supporters and campaign workers. Katko has 2 Election Day wins under his belt in 2014 and 2016. He says he hopes to continue his run representing the 24th District.
We've done everything we can possibly do. I'm at peace with whatever happens because we've run a good race. We've got our message out by bipartisanship and independence and my record in Congress, and I'm pleased with everything. So it's up to the voters now.
And Katko will join the Onondaga County GOP election night celebration at the Syracuse Hotel on Syracuse University's campus. That is expected to get going tonight at 9 o'clock. Live in Camillus, I'm Tommy Sladak.
Tommy, thank you. Now to the battle for New York's 22nd congressional district seat. This has been hot for months now. Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney running in a fierce re-election battle to save her seat against Democrat candidate Anthony Brindisi. A Siena College survey found it a dead heat. The incumbent with a 1-point lead. And in the race for governor, incumbent Andrew Cuomo leading his Republican challenger Mark Molinaro by 13 points in the latest poll. Also in that race, Libertarian Larry Sharp, Green Party candidate Howie Hawkins of Syracuse, and former Syracuse Mayor Stephanie Miner running as an independent. Stay with CBS 5 for the very latest. As the polls close later tonight, you'll always find the results online at cnycentral.com. And our team coverage of Campaign 2018 continues throughout this newscast. At 5:13, the push to make sure voters get to the polls to cast their ballot. At 5:33, what's driving a larger than usual turnout compared to elections past? At 5:35, the final push by key opponents in the 22nd Congressional District. And at 6:16, the big issue for voters in North Syracuse that's causing some parking pains every year. Politics and pasta as we continue. We'll take you to the place where it seems all the politics are put behind in favor of some great food.
I wouldn't have made it. I have osteoporosis, arthritis. There's no way I would have made it. No way. And I'm very happy to have this right.
Getting to the polls can be a challenge for some people. We'll show you all of the services out there that are available to get anyone where they need to be today.
A gusty line of rain has moved off, some threatening looking clouds to the south on the Stanley Law Sky Watch brought to us by Adirondack Furniture. And there's only a risk for a spotty light shower if you're going up to the Carrier Dome for the Syracuse game at 7 o'clock. Pleasant temperatures, though it's going to be breezy. Winds 10 to 25 miles per hour. Those winds will carry the temperatures downward. We're going to show you that downward spiral, show you how cold we go coming up.
How about that for a pretty shot? The sun is going down on election night 2018, and we are gearing up here at CBS 5 as we look live at the Capitol building in Washington. They've got about 60 degrees hanging in right now, and it's a big night.
And the weather's generally cooperating here in central New York.
Good. No excuses.
Yeah, got out and did my voting.
I see that.
earlier
Mine's
today.
upstairs on the computer.
Hopefully you got out and do your Democratic thing here in central New York and make your voice heard. Now, temperature-wise, we're above normal for tonight, Michael. We made the 60s. We're in the 50s now. We'll only fall back into the 40s. And enjoy this, because when you look at the long term, the 6 to 10-day temperature outlook below normal, and much below normal, not only for us in central New York, but a lot of the eastern half of the United States. Typical high temperatures are 50 to 48 degrees, and I think we're going to be close to 10 degrees below that. We are 10 degrees warmer than what we had 24 hours ago. Our temperature right now, 56 degrees. It's feeling pretty good. 54 in Cortland, 54 in Watertown, still holding on to 60 in Elmira. We've got some gusty winds at times, with the line of showers moving through. That's localized. Strong winds coming off of Lake Erie, really gusting towards Buffalo. And there were damaging winds earlier today around the Buffalo area and in the Rochester area, but nothing locally, thankfully. We still could get a gust of 30 to 35 miles per hour as we go through the evening with some of these downpours. Heavier rain right now, northern Cortland County, around Preble, just to the north of Cortland near Homer, up towards Otisco, Lafayette as well. Also around Camden, this is northwest Oneida County, skirting over into southern sections of Lewis County. That deep red indicative of some heavy rainfall. There could be some gusty winds and maybe even some small hail in some of these showers and weak thunderstorms as they move off to the east. Still a rogue shower possible to move into the Syracuse area for the walk up to the Syracuse basketball game. We've got lake effect flying out in the western Great Lakes, and that's what will take place here. We're in a bit of a lull for a while this evening, but we will develop some east of the lake as we go through the overnight. In the next 2 days, it's going to continue. Airport delay is pretty common here from Philadelphia to New York and Boston this evening. Here's the Futurecast at 10 o'clock tonight. Nothing more than an isolated shower. We'll find them more concise and more numerous east of the lake as we get towards the late night hours. As the temperature starts to cool, we begin to develop that lake effect pattern. On a west-southwest wind, it'll be mostly Jefferson County, maybe into Oswego County. Also, we'll watch Lake Erie. That could affect, especially tomorrow afternoon, some of these areas to our northwest. But primarily tomorrow, a nice day with sun and clouds. Temperatures cooler, but still slightly above average. More of the showers will be east of the lake, where they'll likely stay as well as we go into Thursday, although it could come more down towards southern Oswego County. And as we get colder Thursday, higher elevations will start to see some snow east of the lake. We're talking the Tug Hill primarily. So breezy tonight, scattered showers come to an end. Lake effect rain showers develop up to the north, especially Jefferson County. For tomorrow, we only climb 8 degrees. We get up to 54, and it's going to be windy. We'll find those showers up east of the lake, otherwise sunshine and clouds with a low risk for a rain shower. Showers up to the north could mix with some snow over higher elevations, 47 for Thursday, 45 with a new area-wide system on Friday. That's going to give us mostly afternoon rain, higher elevation wet snow. Snow up to the north and northeast of Onondaga County on Saturday, only 40. It's chilly this weekend. And those snow showers and flurries move into the Syracuse area Saturday night into Sunday morning. Michael?
Thank you, Mike. If you don't have a car to get to your polling station, there are a number of services offering rides. Live to the Camillus Fire Station right now, the polls are open until 9 o'clock tonight. And how about that for a line? Plenty of time to still get your vote cast. Elections officials say they are seeing incredible turnout for the midterms, and people are getting to the polls by any means possible. CBS 5's Tara Gibbons tells us more.
A chance to vote, a time to make a difference. Voters in Syracuse making that extra effort to get out and vote. Casey Robinson does not have a car and walked about 10 blocks with her daughter to vote in the Tip Hill area.
We'd walk and exercise the right to vote. So it's a beautiful day.
Casey says she hears people all the time giving excuses about why they can't vote.
This election is so important, especially for like the young generation and the little ones like this. Their futures are at stake.
And as we met so many passionate voters in the Syracuse area, one specific voter says she's grateful for organizations offering free rides.
Make it my business to vote every year. It's a privilege to me.
Johnny Barnett says it's hard for her to get to the polls. She doesn't have a car and it's tough for her to get around. So she's relying on the NAACP, which is offering free rides to the polls this year.
I wouldn't have made it. I have osteoporosis, arthritis. Is no way I would have made it. No way. And I'm very happy to have this right.
A right that Johnny and so many others aren't taking for granted today. Reporting in Syracuse, I'm Tara Gibbons.
And if you have any trouble at the polls, the State Attorney General's office wants to know about it. There's a hotline for this. It's 800-771-7755. You can also email civil.rights@ag.ny.gov. Coming up on CBS 5 News at 5:30, it's one of the most civil things in central New York politics. We're in the kitchen. How much spaghetti will they serve by the time it's all over at Our Lady of Pompeii? You're watching CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock. You are sick of are proof of this. It's one of the most expensive midterm elections ever. Michelle Macaluso reports.
In a high-stakes election, campaign cash poured into political ads across the country.
Now I'm deployed to D.C. to fight for Arizona.
Because it's all about West Virginia.
I'm Claire McCaskill, and I approve this message.
I'm Marsha Blackburn, and I approve this message.
About $5 billion will be spent on campaign ads this midterm election, the most ever, according to the Center for Responsive Politics, which tracks campaign spending. Democrats raised over $1.3 billion from individual donors, while Republicans raised just under $1 billion. And the biggest spenders? Super PACs.
The people of Texas want to come together and do.
The most expensive Senate race in history is Texas, between Democrat Beto O'Rourke and Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Fundraising topped $100 million. As campaign ads invade TV screens, more are popping up on phones via social media and text messages. Digital ad spending will grow by about $900 million, according to Kantar Media.
Well, if you're sick of seeing all these political ads, you might get some relief after the polls close. But the 2020 presidential election is right around the corner, which will surely exceed any type of spending seen in the midterms. On Capitol Hill, I'm Michelle Macaluso.
And this is the focus of our question of the day. You can answer it under the news tab at cnycentral.com. Coming up on CBS 5 News at 5 o'clock.
While all your friends are running around and playing, it's just hard to sit in the bed and do nothing.
That mystery illness that's leaving some children paralyzed is still spreading. We'll show you a breakthrough surgery that got one little guy back on his feet. He's 102, and we tagged along with him to cast his ballot in Syracuse. Coming up at 5:58, what sort of new perspective do you get from a long life when it comes to an election like this? We'll find out. Mysterious disease known as acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM. It can leave people, particularly children, very weak and sometimes paralyzed. Adriana Diaz reports.
Brian Noblet says his son Brandon's health deteriorated in just 1 week in 2016.
Cold-like symptoms, and then as the week progressed, had a headache and neck pain.
Days later, Brandon couldn't use his legs to get out of bed.
I knew then something was very wrong.
A doctor diagnosed Brandon with acute flaccid myelitis, or AFM. Brandon, now 8 years old, was wheelchair-bound.
What's been the hardest part for you about this?
While all your friends are running around and playing, it's just hard to sit in the bed and do nothing.
The family eventually turned to Dr. Amy Moore of Washington University in St. Louis.
My goal with the children with AFM was to restore hip stability and then motion of the upper legs.
Moore says she's the only doctor in the U.S. to perform nerve transfers on children's lower extremities.
So I was able to move a nerve that wiggles the toes to the hips.
How are you?
14 months ago, Moore performed the nerve transfer surgery on Brandon at St. Louis Children's Hospital.
And relax.
During last week's checkup, Brandon says he now only uses his wheelchair to play basketball.
Now I see you're walking.
It's been amazing. Thanks to Miss Dr. Moore, I can go outside, play with my brothers.
While the CDC tries to pinpoint the cause, Dr. Moore is working to help those affected.
My intention is to give these families hope that there are options if they get this horrible diagnosis.
Brandon says that horrible diagnosis brought him new basketball friends and has inspired him to one day pursue a career in medicine. Adriana Diaz, CBS News, St. Louis.
The top 5 stories are all new next at 5:30. Dan Massinio is with the Live Eye in Camillus for his report.
And I've been to several polling locations throughout the day, and I hear the same thing over and over again. We're seeing a much higher turnout for this year's midterm election. Coming up, I'll tell you what voters are saying about heading to the polls.
It's 5:26, and that's live triple Doppler radar. Nothing weather-wise to stop you from getting out if you haven't cast your ballot yet. Meteorologist Mike Brookins is looking past the election returns later tonight and into the rest of the week. His forecast is coming your way at 5:30.
This is CBS 5 News at 5:30 with Michael Benny.
It's election night on CBS 5, live on Capitol Hill. Control of Congress is at stake tonight, and turnout across the country is reported to be very strong. Good afternoon, everyone. There is documented evidence and anecdotes abound about how busy polling stations have been across central New York today. A CBS 5 viewer in Baldwinsville wrote to us, they are already at 375 voters before their rush hour busiest times. They're expecting to top 600. They say they have never seen this many people. One poll worker has been at this location several years. We're live at St. George's Church in New Hartford right now. That's where Congresswoman Claudia Tenney is about to cast her ballot at any moment. Right now, the Weather Authority forecast. Here's meteorologist Mike Brookins.
It was nice while we had the sun in lower 60s. Now we've got a line of showers moving to the east, temperatures in the mid-50s. Fossil Service experts live triple Doppler radar showing those heavier rainmakers now to the east and south of Onondaga County. A little bit of a heavier pocket of rain south of Manlius, but especially in southern Cayuga going into Tompkins County and up here in Lewis County, extreme northern Oneida County, some heavier rain. A little gust of wind of 30 to 35 miles per hour possible. Next 24 hours will only drop down to 46, so above normal temperatures ongoing tonight, up to 54 for tomorrow. And while we're dealing with a few showers tonight, a lot of the time will be dry, and tomorrow a blend of sunshine and clouds for the most part. A better chance for a few lake effect rain showers will be east of the lake. Michael?
Thanks, Mike. Just after 5:30, here are the top 5 stories on CBS 5 News. Shocking new video from Russia shows the moment a truck slammed into a supermarket. Police say it was coming down a hill when the brakes failed and the driver swerved off the road. One woman inside who was shopping did get hurt. An 11-year-old boy could face felony charges after leading police on yet another high-speed chase in Ohio. Police say it's the boy's 3rd time joyriding in the family's SUV. The boy topping speeds of 90 miles per hour before that vehicle flipped. His mother says he took the car because he was angry his PlayStation had been taken away from him. A suspicious envelope found at an Oklahoma courthouse. The treasurer's office inside that building received an envelope containing white powder. The building evacuated. Several people were treated as a precaution. Italy's longest river is being watched very closely. It burst its banks in Turin after another night of heavy rain. More than 30 people have died in the last week in extreme weather hitting that country. Heavy rain, strong winds have been causing extensive damage.
I knew that I was going to be in labor. And then I told her, and then she was like, I'm having pain here and there too. I might be in there with you too.
A pair of identical twins in California prove they really are inseparable. After giving birth to 2 baby girls on the same day, the sisters delivered their babies just an hour apart. There are long lines, the parking lots are busy, and elections officials are saying that is saying a whole lot about turnout across Onondaga County and beyond. CBS 5's Dan Massinio is with the Live Eye at the Camillus Fire Station right now.
And Michael, while exact voter turnout numbers won't be available till later tonight, it is safe to say that this year's midterm election is busier than in years past. Poll workers and voters I talked to today say that they think it's just as busy or even busier than a presidential election year. The doors of Westville High School are swinging back and forth a lot today. The polling location has been busy. More than 500 voters during the first part of the day.
Probably the most important election in modern history. I think that everybody ought to be out today voting.
Voters heading to the polls say this midterm election is one of the most consequential in many years.
I guess I see a lot more people in my age going to vote now.
Yeah, so I guess it does have a little more meaning now.
Kelly Mascari was out with her mom. She says her mom prodded her along a little, but she does realize it's important to vote. She says her social media page was full of people who say they're voting in this midterm election.
Very important to everyone, you know, because it does matter. It makes life different for everyone in the world.
Every polling station I've been to has seen an increase in voters. I've also met several voters who are doing it for the first time.
I didn't think my vote would matter.
Some voters are at the polls for the first time, following a little nudge from others.
Just basically talking to all my coworkers, so I decided to come out and vote.
Lydia Corneo is also voting for the first time. She's from Argentina. She says she voted for the candidates who she thinks will best move the United States forward.
I want a better place to live and job for everyone, and we had an opportunity to change our life for a better life. Right?
And the Syracuse area isn't the only place that's seen big voter turnout. A poll worker and voters in Baldwinsville also say that they're seeing a big turnout for this year's midterm election. Reporting live in Camillus, I'm Dan Messinio.
I see it's busy behind you. Dan, thanks. One of the most competitive House races in all of the country is in upstate New York. Republican Congresswoman Claudia Tenney running for re-election against Democrat Anthony Brindisi. The 22nd Congressional District includes vast areas north, east, and south of Syracuse. In it, cities including Utica, Rome, Cortland, and Binghamton. The Democrat Brindisi casting his ballot earlier today at Mohawk Community College. And at this very moment, we anticipate Congresswoman Claudia Tenney to be arriving at her polling station at St. George's Church in New Hartford to cast hers. CBS 5's Justin Page is with the Live Eye at the Delta Hotel in Utica now.
Michael, this is where Anthony Brindisi will be watching the results roll in tonight alongside family, friends, and supporters. The race for the 22nd District here in New York has gotten national attention, and rightfully so. Millions of dollars have been poured into both campaigns. Congresswoman Claudia Tenney doubling down on her support of President Donald Trump, hosting multiple events with White House officials recently, like Sarah Sanders, the press secretary, and Donald Trump Jr. In response to some of those events, Anthony Brindisi says he's been out going throughout the district shaking hands of real New Yorkers, people he would be representing if elected. A handful of polls have both Brindisi and Congresswoman Tenney in a near dead heat in this race. Some had them separated by just 1 or 2 percentage points. And that's good news for the Democratic challenger in a district that has about 30,000 more registered Republicans than registered Democrats. This district stretches from the shores of Lake Ontario to the Pennsylvania border. It includes 3 pivot counties, which are counties that supported President Obama in 2012 and then switched to support President Trump in 2016. This seat in the 22nd District has been held by a Republican since 2012 when Richard Hanna was elected. Hanna, of course, crossed party lines recently, endorsing Brindisi for this seat. I was able to stop by the Utica City Hall polling station a short time ago, and I asked them about the turnout. Officials there say the turnout has been huge. They actually compare it more to a presidential election than a midterm election. Of course, the polls are still open for a few more hours until 9 o'clock tonight, and shortly after that, we'll find out who actually came out to vote and who will win this test here in New York's 22nd District. For now, reporting live in downtown Utica, I'm Justin Page.
They're hoping for a party there. Justin, thank you. Meantime, a Syracuse Election Day tradition is in its 69th year and still on as we speak. The Our Lady of Pompeii Spaghetti Dinner on the city's north side is still serving. Let's get the facts first on CBS 5 News at 5:30. Organizers hand roll nearly 6,000 meatballs every year for the event, and they make 200 gallons of sauce. And this year, they've cooked up more than 700 pounds of pasta. CBS 5's Brandon Roth takes us there.
Well, there are long lines still here at Our Lady of Pompeii School where folks have been lining up all day for an Election Day tradition, Our Lady of Pompeii's Spaghetti Supper. And the man behind that, one of the volunteers, Tino Perino here. This is really the place to be for anyone who's a politician on Election Day.
They're all here. They all turn out around lunchtime. Totally nonpartisan. Everybody just comes here. It's a great time. And as one of our volunteers said, the only thing that gets slung around here is spaghetti and sauce.
That sauce is the real deal. You guys, this is over 6,000 meatballs.
Over 6,000 meatballs, 200 gallons of sauce. The sauce is all made fresh with fresh ingredients, fresh basil, fresh tomato products.
Yeah.
Everything's fresh.
We talked to some local politicians who said on Election Day, this is the place to be.
This is where they want to be seen, if they want the election to turn out in their favor.
Yeah, and if you want to try some of Our Lady of Pompey's spaghetti supper, there are still orders available. They run until 7 o'clock. It's just $10, and money goes to help support scholarships at the school and is one of the main fundraisers for the school. So take part in a Central New York tradition and help out Our Lady of Pompeii at the same time. Reporting from Our Lady of Pompeii on Election Day, Brandon Roth. Let's take
Thank you, Brandon, and stay with CBS 5 and CNYCentral.com for the very latest as those numbers start to roll in tonight. At 102 years old, we found him today casting a ballot. At 5:58, what sort of new perspective do you get from a long life when it comes to an election season like the one we just endured?
Residual moisture from the rainfall earlier on. This is the Stanley Law Sky Watch brought to us by Adirondack Furniture. Looking ahead to tomorrow, did you get away with not wearing a jacket for a while this afternoon? I think it's back to the heavier coat with some wind and slightly cooler temperatures. Rain jacket for some, sun for others. We will show you where the rain's going to set up coming up next.
CBS 5 and the sun has gone down in Washington and everywhere else on the East Coast. Control of Congress at stake tonight in districts all over the country, and we will be on the most critical races to you all evening long. So settle in. No need to change the channel. We'll be right here tonight on CBS 5. Meteorologist Mike Brookins is along for the ride as well.
And if you have to go out, it's looking pretty quiet.
Nice.
Just a couple of showers out there, and I think they're going to be moving along, so no reason to not get out there and vote.
Good news for our pizza delivery guy who'll be coming to the newsroom.
I'm looking forward to that.
Or girl, or woman.
Either way, we'll eat it.
Our pizza delivery person.
I'll tell you what, you're going to need something hot over the weekend.
Only I could get in trouble with pizza.
We'll take it. Pepperoni, please. All right, we've got iffy conditions for raking tomorrow. Better as we get towards Thursday. Before we're going to put the brakes on. And Michael, I was just talking about, some hot foods because we are going to turn cold towards the weekend. I've even got some snow in the forecast. Right now it's rain, scattered showers on Falso Service Experts live triple Doppler radar south and east of Syracuse. And yes, there are some downpours out there. So if you have to get out, go out and vote. Briefly, you might deal with a downpour. It should be moving on out, though, within 15 or 20 minutes. You can see the heaviest weather up well to our northeast and to the south. So Syracuse area is dry. When you get into southern Cayuga County, northern Tompkins County, that's where we've got a heavy rainmaker. Gust of wind possible around West Groton. Also maybe some small hail in some of these. And then also some heavier rain up towards Old Forge, Otter Lake, as you're heading up towards the Adirondacks, going into northern sections of Oneida County near Boonville. 54 our temperature after making the lower 60s. Briefly, we had that sunshine. It was so nice. I said it today on a social media post. Best weather of the day was this afternoon at about 2:30. Best weather of the week. Best weather of November. Maybe the best weather for the rest of the year. We'll see. Back to the west, there's a lot of cool air, and once it moves in, folks, it is going to be with us. So here's what you need to know for tomorrow. 10 degrees cooler, but still technically above average. There'll be some lake effect showers developing. They'll be east of Lake Ontario, and they'll be moving around. Mixed showers east of the lake, meaning rain showers for some, higher elevations seeing the snow showers. These are going to be showery and up north or east of Lake Ontario. So for the next 2 days, a lot of central New York will be mostly dry. We'll get hit with our next system on Friday with a raw rainfall developing during the late morning and higher elevations, some wet snow. So here comes that lake effect developing east of the lake. Otherwise, just an isolated light shower for the rest of us, mostly cloudy tonight. Partly sunny to start the daytime tomorrow. We'll turn to a mix of sun and clouds. Not bad for most. It's mostly Jefferson County, northern Oswego County dealing with the rain showers. Those could come into Oswego County for Thursday, and there's the higher elevations dealing with some snow, but we're mostly bystanders down here around Onondaga County. So 46 and breezy for tonight. Scattered showers and area-wide. Lake effect develops up to the north. Those lake effect rain and snow showers east of the lake the next couple of days. Windy and cooler tomorrow, 54. Then we drop it to 47 for Thursday and still a bit breezy. Then Friday, the new system, 45. Mainly afternoon rain, higher elevations mixing with wet snow. There'll be some snow and snow showers east of the lake up to the north and northeast of Onondaga County Saturday. Saturday night and Sunday morning, some snow showers and flurries coming into the Syracuse area. And look at those temperatures. Brr.
Thank you, Mike. Syracuse basketball hoping to warm things up tonight in their season opener. They're taking on Eastern Washington. We'll break down what you need to know about the game, and the Eagles are visitors from the Pacific Northwest. When we come back, you're watching CBS 5 News at 5:30. Election night is opening night for Syracuse basketball. Good evening, I'm Nico Tamurian. It's a nice benchmark when you think about it. If the Orange can be as good as so many around town are hoping this winter, we can look back to election night possibly as far as 5 months from now as the night this special journey started. Syracuse opening things up in the satellite round of the 2K Sports Classic tonight. The Orange taking on Eastern Washington. The Eagles are a team that almost won their league last year, but all eyes on the Orange. And that point guard spot, Frank Howard is doubtful tonight, but reports out that Jalen Carey, the freshman, should be able to play. We'll see which way Coach Boeheim goes with that. But either way, it's a game the Orange is expected to win, setting the tone for the rest of the season.
Right, the first 2 games, you're a little anxious, you're a little, winded, of course, but, it felt good just to, see the first couple shots go in. You calm down, and you're just, like I said, you're just playing basketball. No matter where it's at, it could be at the Dome, wherever you're just playing basketball.
It's definitely exciting. Obviously it's fun playing those games where you want to get right to the season and start playing right away for real. And it's just something I'm really looking forward to, and I'm going to make sure I'm locked in and ready to play.
Let's get to know Eastern Washington a little bit. They're a long way from home, which is actually just southwest of Spokane, Washington, opening with a tough schedule as part of this 2K Sports Classic. 3 top 25 games, including the Orange, Oregon, who SU might see down in New York City next week, and longtime SU assistant coach Mike Hopkins' Washington Husky squad. The Eagles almost making the NCAA tournament last year, falling in their conference championship game. And by the way, it's the alma mater of sports talk radio legend Colin Cowherd and current LA Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp. Game starts at 7, not on traditional TV, so we'll certainly keep you posted on the game a little bit later on tonight. Well, it's the start of a journey this afternoon for the SU women's basketball team. The Orange ranked number 16 in the nation. High hopes of accomplishing something special like we saw 2 years ago, right, with the men and women's teams both in the Final Four. That mission starting at home this afternoon against North Dakota. This squad should be a lot of fun to watch this year. We have great ball movement early on, eventually setting up Amaya Finkley inside. She spins, wheels, and scores for 2. North Dakota hanging around for a while. In fact, the game was tied at the end of the first quarter, but from there, it's all Orange all the time. Tiana Mangakahia, electric, sensational crossover. Doesn't finish the first time, but look at the point guard. Sticks with it, gets the board, lays it up and in for 2. The Orange running away with it. That's Kiara Lewis burying it from deep. Syracuse rolls 85-49, the final from the Loud House this afternoon. Syracuse football, by the way, with a chance to be 8-2 for the first time since 2001. It begs the question, what bowl games are on the table? I brought this up yesterday on CBS 5 News at 5:30. It largely depends on how the last 3 games go for the Orange. But this afternoon, I talked with SU Athletic Director John Wildhack. He's pretty in tune with this. His take on the situation and what Orange fans can expect going forward.
Nico, we've got to see how the season plays out. There's 3 games to play, a lot at stake nationally, a lot at stake for the conference. Now, if we win out, then the likely destination would be the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl in Atlanta. If not, the Camping World then has the first selection, and then we've got our group of Tier 1 bowls. And part of that, that's where conversations come in with the conference and between the conference and the bowls and the individual schools. And one of the things I think you'll see a little bit is a sense of the importance of the regional factor. So example, for us to go back to New York, the Yankees would not be concerned about that whatsoever. They would love to have us in the Pinstripe Bowl.
So there you have it. Once you get past where your merit gets into a bowl, like a New Year's Six or even the Camping World Bowl.
Then the phone calls start.
Then the phone calls start.
Then the emails start.
And the Pinstripe Bowl, as John alluded to there, 4.5 hours from here, they would love to have Syracuse back. We'll see how it all shakes out.
They call it lobbying.
Exactly.
To use an election term.
Hey, we're on election night, right?
Nico, thanks. Coming up on CBS 5 News at 6, one of the largest suburban school districts in central New York is about to start searching for a new leader.
We're seeing a surge in voters here at rush hour in Camillus. I'm Thomas Slater. Coming up, we'll show you Congressman John Kanko, who casted his ballot right here.
And we're tracking a drop in temperatures currently in the mid-50s in central New York and going down. This will feel balmy when you see how cold the 7-day gets.
New perspective on what might happen tonight. Bob Schieffer is a legend at CBS News. And in my conversation with him, he said something is happening right now that hasn't happened in all his many years of covering elections. It's all next on CBS 5 News at 6.